My wife embodies the essence of a true woman. She has the uncanny ability to whip up a salad, stir up a fuss, and craft a hat from mere scraps. The legendary Coco Chanel herself would have surely appreciated her flair had she not been preoccupied with an admirer like myself. Adeline's unique blend of wit and grace consistently placed her a step ahead in any gathering. She became the centerpiece wherever she went, drawing a crowd that ranged from pals to co-workers to the spouses of her friends. At social events, Adeline reigned supreme, expertly navigating the thin line between tasteful teasing and overt boldness. She wielded her gifts with finesse, always managing to attain her objectives. Was I envious? Far from it. I took immense pride in having her by my side, a vibrant and exceptional woman, bearing a name as unique as her persona, Adeline. When our paths first crossed, she was a specialist at an insurance company. After 6 years of impeccable work and leadership in the development of the interregional network, she was appointed head of the regional sales department. Aliyah, as I lovingly call her, succeeds in all her endeavors. Our house is spotless, unhappy, and her career is thriving. Therefore, when a general accounting meeting was scheduled at the end of the quarter, as well as a corporate evening, Adeline could not refuse. Despite the fact that she preferred to relax at home, the role of sales manager attracted her. She had a specific section on her official agenda and was tasked with solving several tasks in a relaxed atmosphere. In addition, the event program included everyone from the company owner to the CEO and field agents. Even from afar, I could appreciate the importance of this event. A week ago, when she asked for a ride, we had no idea that this momentous day would come so quickly. I even left the house early to take my wife to this chic hotel and restaurant complex outside the city. As she mentioned, that's where her band's party was held. This place is equipped for all kinds of events. A conference room for meetings, a restaurant for gourmet dinners, and cozy hotel rooms for those who need to spend the night. In short, a well-known insurance company did not fail to mention its first-class sellers. Adeline, as ever, shines like a beacon. Her ash-hued tresses were styled into an elegant updo, adding to her allure. The sleek, form-fitting black dress accentuated her curves beautifully. Delicate stockings adorned with a broad lace trim and chic stiletto heels completed her ensemble, while her subtle makeup and a trail of her favorite dyer fragrance enveloped her in an irresistible aura. I led her to the event venue, where the grounds were adorned with balloon arrangements in corporate colors. Promotional leaflets fluttered down from the hanging banners. Gentle melodies filled the air in the courtyard, and waiters glided silently past, offering guests a selection of aperitifs. My dear wife leaned in and playfully kissed the tip of my nose, playfully asking me to retire for the night. She assured me that without her, the festivities would likely wind down by midnight, and I could easily catch a taxi home. As the clock chimed 12, however, my own Cinderella was still nowhere to be seen. Not even an hour had ticked by, nor two, when my phone chimed with the unmistakable sounds of revelry, and bursts of fireworks shimmered not only across the night sky, but also in my mind. I realized there was nothing to gain from my enchanting partner today. Fatigued and worn out, all I craved was to drift into a deep sleep. These thoughts swiftly ushered me into the realm of dreams, knocking me out entirely. When the clock struck 3:45 in the early hours of the morning, I stirred awake. The world outside my window was painted in shades of grey typical of summer dawns. My drowsy wife was wrestling with her share of the fluffy terry sheets. I decided to pull the covers over her. What met my gaze was a sight that stretched the limits of both office decorum and our married life, veering into territory that defied even basic conversation norms. There was my wife, lounging beside me, while a purse, a phone, and a pair of stiletto heels lay scattered on the floor beside our bed. One of her stockings hung lazily down to her knee, while the other appeared to be clutched fiercely in her hand. She was still dressed, but her once pristine hairdo had been left in disarray, clearly a victim of the night's explosive festivities. Yet, the striking detail was that beneath the audaciously hiked hem of her dress, there was no trace of underwear to be found. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that the delicate lace edging of a thong isn't prominently visible on the curves of a woman's body, but I had never heard of it completely vanishing in such situations. So, like a bloodhound sniffing out a well-known scent, I followed the trail and movement patterns, hoping to find the elusive detail of the headset. Unfortunately, my efforts within the apartment did not yield any results. Apart from a brilliant certificate celebrating her outstanding work and notable achievements at work, nothing has been found in her name. By the time I finally stirred awake, I had already gone through a pack and a half of cigarettes and gulped down half a can of coffee. My mind was running wild, conjuring up all sorts of scenarios with one common ending: my unfaithful wife, Adeline, taking center stage. Hoping for some kind of explanation, I directly confronted her. But all I got from her was a bunch of nonsense about having a headache and not being able to remember a thing. Honestly, it didn't do much to soothe me. After downing a cup of strong coffee, my wife started to grasp the sheer terror of the ordeal. What made it even worse for her was that the formal segment of the event, the final awards ceremony, the grand commencement of the feast, and the single dance program announced by the MC were etched into her mind. She vividly recalled winning the sack race contest and crossing the finish line first, snagging a lollipop as the prize. Perhaps that's when her underwear decided to make an escape. But instead of returning home with my underwear in hand, I came back empty-handed. Jealousy and fury throbbed through my mind as doubt about my stunning wife crept in for the very first time. I insisted that Adeline call up her workmate. She explained the events of the previous day on speakerphone. My wife was mortified, yet I had cornered her into revealing the truth. "Hello, Grace," his wife whispered excitedly. "You're kidding, right? Have you wiped your memory clean? Do you remember when I dragged you into my car, drove you home and threw you on the floor?" For a moment, I felt relieved. Grace mentioned that Adeline was on edge most of the evening. She was concerned that all members of her team would prepare their reports properly. When she received the award, her breath caught in her throat. In general, she hardly touched the food, only sipped the champagne. But as soon as the official part was replaced by a more relaxed one, her composure changed. After tasting some sambuca, Adeline clung to the bartender on the counter, taking a few generous sips of this charming drink. Then the head of the sales department began to complain about the cruel turns of fate that life had thrown at him. She recalled the stray mutt she fondly planned to nickname Boss, and made sure it got fed. At the office, he greeted her bright and early and took on the unofficial role of security throughout the day. A cocktail? Not a chance. Setting up a sturdy kennel for him by the parking lot? That was an absolute no-go from the general. The dog had to vamoose. Their budget just didn't stretch to accommodate four-legged residents. That's where she got lost in thought. The dance-offs and talent shows wrapped up, yet, predictably, the crowd craved more than just the basics. They yearned for some real excitement. The contests themselves were a cacophony of singing and chatter. That's when Adeline piped up. "Hey, I've got an idea. How about you all go bid on some of my wardrobe pieces at an auction? The money we raise will go towards building a shelter for some loyal furry companions." She swayed rhythmically to the tune, gracefully shedding her cherished adornment and tossing it to the excited audience. The crowd, spurred into action, began to eagerly call out bids, creating a raucous din. Meanwhile, a buddy packed up the winnings in the trunk and drove them back. As for the competition's outcome, it remains a mystery. However, a co-worker captured the event on video, which I later viewed on my cell with my wife. Literally a minute after her story, my God, what a failure, she might as well have given up now. Such a fool, it's me and the whole office combined. Teammates, juniors, seniors, the wife lamented, clutching her head in despair. For my part, it was extremely funny and inspiring, confirming to me that my wife was not unfaithful, but rather stood up for a noble cause, although she paid dearly for it personally to me. I can't imagine going to work after this weekend, looking someone in the eye, or just writing a letter of resignation on the spot, I mused aloud. Her monologue was interrupted by the ringing of her mobile phone. An image of the company's CEO appeared on the screen. "Adeline, surely you didn't miss anything from yesterday. Oh, this is an offer to purchase your underwear for an amount corresponding to what your colleagues contributed." My wife remained as quiet as a church mouse, utterly speechless. "You understand," the director pressed on, "you walked away from the auction and flouted the regulations." Nevertheless, it did unfold as planned, and I must tell you that the income from the mere 30 centimetres of lace is sufficient, not just for securing a canine's abode, but also covers vet visits, securing a pet passport, and buying enough food to last half a year. So looks like your Monday is all booked up. Just one thing, my wife piped up in a rare falsetto. Please don't refer to him as the boss. The cash is waiting for you in your safe to be collected from the secretary, came the beep-infused reply from the other side. We both remained mum. Breaking the quiet, I remarked, "Well, the objective was met once more." "And by any means necessary," my wife concluded bashfully.